Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Joshua chapter 3, verses 11, 13, and 17. Behold, the ark of the covenant of Yahweh of all the earth passes over before you into Jordan. And it shall come to pass, as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of Yahweh, the Adonai of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon an heap. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground, until all the people were passed clean over Jordan.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Deep River.
I want to cross over into campground.
Deep river, mine.
All is over Jordan.
Deep river,
I want to cross over into campground. Don't you want to go?
Don't you wanna go?
To that gospel
Peace,
that promised
promised land.
where all is peace. Don't you want to go to that gospel
Peace.
that promised land where all is
Peace. Deep river, mine.
All is over Jordan.
Deep river,
I want to cross
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received a gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. Now, as we get closer to the so-called holy days that man keeps, we're going to keep hearing or getting these questions about do we partake, or do we keep Hanukkah, keep all of these other rituals that have been set up by man. And we have a class going all the way into that, but we're going to deal with some other aspects of folklore, basically, which is what has been given. And when you say that you're walking in Messianic Judaism, then people start to ask you, well, you must be doing this. And no, we're not doing that. And we need to be able to firmly stand on why we don't celebrate those things. It says, Yahshua says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. We end up thinking that if we get in the word, that the rains won't come, the floods won't come, the winds won't blow, and our house won't get beat upon. No, it says all of that's going to come, but it ain't going to knock your house down. So we have to then put some real thought into what our house is founded upon. Because if it's founded upon public perception, you can always look like you got it together. You can always look a certain way. But when that water come, when them floods come, when that wind blow, it's gonna show that hey, it's a few boards in there that ain't quite nailed down. And it says, and everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and does them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. Sand moves. The foundation of sand is a movable foundation. So it can't hold any structure that is put upon it by itself. And the rain descended, the floods came, the winds blew, beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Now, one of the main things that we have to get out of here is verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and does them. What we have gotten is other people's culture, and we are repeating other people's sayings. And we have to decide whose culture we're going to keep, whose sayings we are going to repeat. Let's begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we're going to read verses 1 through 26.
When Yahweh your Elohim shall bring you into the land, whether you go to possess it, and have cast out many nations before you, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahweh your Elohim shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Your daughter you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son.
Because what it's going to do is it's going to start merging those cultures. You're going to start picking up their doings, and they're going to pick up your doings, but they're going to merge them with theirs. And once you have those merged cultures and dealings, before long, you're going to forget which way is the original way. Which way is the pure way, because you have all of these merged items. Go ahead.
For they will turn away your son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly.
So if you want to know how the nations are going to attempt to destroy us and what they're doing, just look at television. It says you shall make no marriages. Tell me how many commercials you see where it's a couple and the husband and the wife look like us. Count them out. Commercial after commercial after commercial. You're going to see one of us and something of something else. And it's something else all the way under the sun. So it is a purposely done plan to make sure that we are disconnected from our Elohim without even knowing it. We have been taught that none of that matters. You just love who you love. Matter of fact, you love what you love. It ain't even got to be, the opposite. Just love it. If you want to love a dog, they got dog love. They got kid love. It ain't even got to be grown. It ain't got to be grown. Just catch it right out the diaper. Just love it. It's all legal. And they're telling you it's okay, understanding that this is going to cause a rift between you and your Elohim. You think they don't know that? Go ahead.
But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For you are an holy people unto Yahweh your Elohim. Yahweh your Elohim has chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all the people there are upon the face of the earth.
It says, for thus you shall deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, break down their images, cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. So they thought Yahshua was a zealot when he started turning over tables. Wait a minute, it should have been some stuff on fire. It should have been some hammer swinging. When you get right down to it, Yahshua, he could have went further. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, this is the problem we have right here. It says Yahweh Elohim has chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And we can't see ourselves in that position. We'd rather see other people in that position and believe that these are the people. Why can't we believe that we are something, we are someone so badly trodden down?
Because we've been brainwashed to believe that that's what we are. It is those people's duty to make sure that we don't understand that we are a chosen people unto him, above all the people that are on the face of the earth. They don't want you to believe that about you. So every image of you is going to be shown in a disrespectful light.
And if you walk in that manner with that type of thought process, then you're uppity Negro.
Right. You worse than that. They like uppity Negroes. Because see, the uppity Negroes would just be uppity to us. They just be uppity to other Negroes. They're not uppity to other people. See, they actually want to be those people. So they love the uppity Negroes. No, it's Negroes like me they don't like. No, they love uppity Negro. Uppity Negro can move right in their neighborhood, and once they find out it's an uppity Negro, they say, come on. When they see me, no, that's when they call the authorities. No, because the way he dressing and the way he walking, it look like he might know who the hell he is. No, he is a bigger threat than the uppity Negro. Oh, no, they love uppity Negroes. They went to school with those. You understand? They know those. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, has Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that Yahweh your Elohim, he is El, the faithful El, which keeps covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
Now, one of the things that you have to keep your mind on is this is supposed to be the basis of everything that Judaism operates in. But to make sure that the powers that be maintain control, they have introduced other writings that basically say the opposite of everything that you're reading, while still claiming that they operate in the Torah. The Torah is what we're reading. But a lot of these customs come out of writings that have absolutely nothing to do with this. Go ahead.
And repays them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hates him. He will repay him to his face. You shall therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments, which I command you this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that Yahweh your Elohim shall keep unto you the covenant and the mercy which he swore unto your fathers.
All right, so wherefore it shall come to pass if you hearken to these judgments. So this is your righteousness. This is your wisdom if you walk in this. Now, consider your enemy then comes and reads this. Okay. To make sure that you stay out of the good graces of your Elohim, your enemy needs to produce another lifestyle that does not allow you to walk in this. Because this is how you're going to have protection and direction from your Elohim. So all they got to do is cut this off, and they cut off your strength. We don't understand what a fight is. See, we still have the elementary thought process of a fight, where I hit you in the face, you hit me in the face, and we see whose face is stronger. No. The war and the fight start way before that, when you cut off the strength for them to be able to punch you in the face. See, it's one thing to be able to punch somebody in the face. Well, what go before that? What happened before that? Well, right before he punched me in my face, he ate the Wheaties. All right, well, take away the Wheaties. Wait a minute. Now when he punch you in the face, it feel like a handkerchief just hit you. Uh-oh, it got you now. Got you now. See, the fight had already started before the face punch. See? So now you realize you just take away the Wheaties. Well, hey, they're trying to take away your Wheaties and you don't even know it. Now when you go to the fight and when you swing, you trying to figure out why your little handkerchief swing didn't do nothing. They took away your power before you even got to the fight. Go ahead.
And he will love you and bless you and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your land, your corn and your wine and your oil, the increase of your kind and the flocks of your sheep, in the land which he swore unto your fathers to give you. You shall be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle.
Let me tell you something. We've had more problems conceiving since we started going to hospitals. How slaves had babies in a shack. Wasn't a damn thing in it sterilized. We didn't have no hospital. We didn't have no nothing. It wasn't no sterilized room. We didn't have none of that. I tell you what, somehow them babies kept popping out of there. You got one woman, 12, 13, 14 kids. Now other people got to take loads of drugs to have 14 kids. My grandmama was one of 19. Now, why you don't see that no more? See, now they got to get some other drugs. Now, we got to get something to slow them down now. They just popping them out like Skittles. They just pop out of there. They got, look at the yellow, blue, red, and then they have all colors. Look at that. Just, no, wait a minute. See, first they build something. Then it started doing what they wanted it to do. Now they got to stop it. Because they realized, wait a minute, them babies keep shooting out of there. Now they had to find a way to slow that down. We didn't need none of that. All of a sudden, it's black women that have the highest death rate in going to a hospital. How is that possible? When without a hospital, we were popping out babies with no problem. Now you make it safer and we dying. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And Yahweh will take away from you all sickness, and will put none of the evil disease of Egypt, which you knoweth, upon you, but will lay them upon all them that hate you. And you shall consume all the people which Yahweh your Elohim shall deliver you. Your eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto you.
Right. It's the pity that allows it to go on too long. So you start having pity. You think, well, you know, I'm not going to trip about it. Well, you know, See, that's where you when you look up and you in Satan's living room and you trying to figure out how I got here. I can tell you what, back up. Now you got that. See, if you had went on and pulled out the hammer and broke the hell out of it right then, you wouldn't have woke up in Satan's living room. But because you kept letting it slide, you keep having pity, and you think that pity, it makes it that you're forgiving. See, this is how the adversary fool you. You think pity is you being a forgiving and nice person. You better learn where to be forgiving and where to be for swinging. See, you need to learn the difference in those things. Go ahead.
If you shall say in your heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? You shall not be afraid of them, but you shall remember that Yahweh your Elohim. But you shall not be afraid of them, but shall well remember what Yahweh your Elohim did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt. The great temptations which your eyes saw, and the signs, and the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm, whereby Yahweh your Elohim brought you out. So shall Yahweh your Elohim do unto all the people of whom you are afraid. Moreover, Yahweh your Elohim will send the hornet among them, until they that are left and hide themselves from you be destroyed. You shall not be affrighted at them, for Yahweh your Elohim is among you, a mighty El and terrible.
Mm-hmm. But But if you don't walk in the culture, then that takes away the power. Now you got to do it yourself because your Elohim is not among you. That's spiritual war being waged against you and you don't even know it. But see, when you think it is you that's doing that, then you think, you know what, if I work out a little more, I need to learn another discipline. You know what? I need to learn that stuff Bruce Lee was learning, and then I'll be a better fighter. Let me tell you something. If Yahweh not with you, I don't give a damn what you learn. You can learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You can learn all kind of ketos. It ain't do you no damn good. If the angel of Yahweh not all with you, you finna get towed up. But when that spirit with you, I don't care what they got or what they know. We studying the wrong discipline. Go ahead.
And Yahweh your Elohim will put out those nations before you by little and little. You may not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon you. But Yahweh your Elohim shall deliver them unto you, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed.
And we don't even understand the blessing in verse 22. And Yahweh, your Elohim, will put out those nations before you little and little. See, we see something and we want all of everything that come with it on day one. You ain't learned how to operate in that. You want 100. Yahweh said you got all 100,000 of those acres is yours, and you want all of them today. All right. Well, how you till 100,000 acres? Oh, you don't know. How about you learn how to till 1 acre, and then learn how to till 10, and then learn how to till 20. He give you all of those at one time, you in trouble. But we don't consider that. Because we want what we want and we want it now. Go ahead.
And he shall deliver their kings into your hand, and you shall destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before you until you have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. You shall not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. So we're coming into a land that already has the images of other gods already there. He says, get rid of all of it. I don't care if it's got made of gold and silver. Get rid of it. Go ahead.
Nor take it unto you, lest you be snared therein, for it is an abomination to Yahweh your Elohim.
Okay, so if you take the thing unto you, now an abomination has now been added unto your house, and now you're having an issue into your house because of this thing that you've accepted into it. Go ahead.
Neither shall you bring an abomination into your house, lest you be a cursed thing like it. But you shall utterly detest it, and you shall utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing.
So, the adversary, your enemies, study how to overcome you. So one thing is to cut off from you the culture, which is going to weaken you. The next step, allow something cursed to come into your house. Tell you to accept all manner of everything. Say, we don't hate anybody, so we're going to let everybody come in. Now, he's allowed cursed things to enter into your dwelling. Now you at level 2 of getting cut off. The fight ain't started yet. He has already weakened you twice. See, it's that thing where one of them fights Muhammad Ali was in, and old boy put some stuff on them gloves, and for a minute Muhammad Ali couldn't see, and he had to just run from him. They'd rub something on them on them gloves, and boy, Muhammad Ali like, man, he is blind in this ring until whatever that was wore off. But he had to have the power to run until his eyesight came back. He had to have the power, because most folks, If he wasn't who he was, he already knocked out by the time he can see again. By the time he saw again, he was gonna be seeing them in the hospital. That you got to have enough in you to make it past their slickness. So understand, this can happen way before the fight starts. Now we're not even starting on equal ground. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 12. Deuteronomy chapter 12, and let's start that at verse 1.
These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land which Yahweh your Elohim of your fathers gives you to possess it all the days that you live upon the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which you shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree.
All right, so when we see a church and it ain't a place to serve and worship Yahweh, it got to come down. Go ahead.
And you shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire. And you shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and destroy the names of them out of that place. You shall not do so unto Yahweh your Elohim, but unto the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall you seek, and thither shall you come. And thither you shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstling of your herds and of your flocks.
All right, another way the adversary wars against us. All right, it says, you shall do all of these things unto the other nations and their gods. But when it comes down to Yahweh, it says, you shall not do this unto him. Unto his house you shall bring your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, your heave offerings of your hand, and your vows. So the adversary said, well, let us get into the church business. All right, so we gonna make the church business so corrupt that the men gonna sit by and say, wait a minute, man, that's a hustle. I ain't dealing with that. Boom. He warned against you again. Because, a brother sit back and he said, wait a minute, man, I know a hustler when I see one that look like a hustle. So now what do? We're going to go all the way across the board and say, I ain't dealing with none of it. Most other people sitting here at some point said, man, I ain't dealing with no church. Why? Because you start watching and you saw the miracle spring water, the personal prayer package. God! You seen enough of that? You're like, come on, man. Once you see enough of that, what does it do? Pausing you against the entire setup. So then when the truth does come to you, you're not willing to receive it because you've seen all the lies before. He's still warring. All of this is pre-fight. Understand, he doing all of this, but he ain't swung at you yet. You still don't know the fight done started. This still pre-fight. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And there you shall eat before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall rejoice in all that you put your hand unto, you and your households, wherein Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you. You shall not do after all the things that we do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes.
Now, this is what they're pushing to us. If this makes you happy, then you should keep your truth. When the hell is there a truth that is only true to your ass? What the hell is your truth? And then when somebody walking in a lie, here comes some other idiot. Tell your truth, child. What the hell is your truth? You mean you got a truth that ain't the truth, but it's true to you? What the hell is that? Read, man.
For you are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yahweh your Elohim gives you. But when you go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahweh your Elohim gives you to inherit, and when he gives you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offerings of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vow unto Yahweh. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters, and your men servants and your maid servants, and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he has no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to yourself that you offer not your burnt offerings in every place that you seeth, but in the place which Yahweh shall choose in one of your tribes, there you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I command you.
So if the adversary can get you to put every place on equal footing, he's also warring against you again. The same way that they say, every day is holy. Sunday is holy, Monday is holy, Tuesday is holy, Wednesday is holy, every day is holy. You don't have to worry about no Sabbath. Boom. Got you. Got you. Now, he has put every day on equal footing. Now he's gotten you to step on the Sabbath unknowingly. Now, you're not stepping on the Sabbath because you're doing something against the Sabbath. You're stepping on it because you made every other day equal to it. Another way he's weakened you again. The fight still ain't started. How many times do you think you can be weakened and still have a good fight? There's a reason why when it's time for a fighter to fight, he go away from his house. He can't enjoy all the delicacies of his life. And I'm going to leave it right there. And still fight a good fight. You understand? There's a reason why the fighter look out there in that audience and see his wife and he smile. Because he ain't seen her in a minute. While preparing for this fight. Okay. How many of these minuses you think you're going to be able to withstand? Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, you may kill and eat flesh in all your gates, whatsoever your soul lust after, according to the blessing of Yahweh your Elohim, which he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. Only you shall not eat the blood. You shall pour it upon the earth as water. You may not eat within your gates the tithe of your corn, or of your wine, or of your oil, or the firstlings of your herds, or of your flock, nor any of your vows which you vow, nor your freewill offerings, or heave offering of your hand.
So if you take your first fruit and eat it at your house, you done already got yourself in trouble. But this is how the adversary is weakening you little by little. You go to a restaurant and tell them that you want something well done. They make you wait longer than everybody else. It's like they mad at you because you want yours cooked. So you cooking out the juice. That's not juice, that's blood. I need you to cook that. So when we then let just that simple part get to us, he says, you shall not eat with the blood. I remember looking at the Winn-Dixie commercials and they said, thick, juicy steak. Then they cut it open. The only brown part is 1 centimeter at the top. They cut through it and there's just red pouring out of it. And they said, look at that juice. Now, this is commercials. Now you've grown up all your life thinking that was thick, juicy steak. Getting this book and find out, man, that thing was damn near still living. Did it move? Did it move when you cut it? Hey, what? That was that thing even fully dead? Go ahead, Bree.
But you may eat them before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose. You and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant and the Levite that is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim in all that you putteth your hands unto. Take heed to yourself, that you forsake not the Levite as long as you liveth upon the earth. When Yahweh your Elohim shall enlarge your border, as he has promised you, and you shall say, I will eat flesh, because your soul longeth to eat flesh. You may eat flesh, whatsoever your soul lust after. If the place which Yahweh your Elohim has chosen to put his name there be too far from you, then you shall kill all your herd and of your flock, which Yahweh your Elohim has given you, as I have commanded you, and you shall eat in your gates whatsoever your soul lust after. Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so shall you eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that you eat not the blood, for the blood is the life. And you mayest not eat the life with the flesh. You shall not eat it. You shall pour it upon the earth as water. You shall not eat it, that it may go well with you, and with your children after you, when you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahweh. Only your holy things which you have, and your vows, you shall take, and go on to the place which Yahweh shall choose. And you shall offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command you, that it may go well with you, and with your children after you forever, when you do that which is good and right in the sight of Yahweh your Elohim. When Yahweh your Elohim shall cut off the nations from before you, whether you go to possess them, and you succeeded them, and dwelleth in their land. Take heed to yourself, that you be not snared by following them.
Take heed to yourself that you be not snared by following them. See, we'll go into something to do business, and before you know it, we hanging around with them and keeping their ways. We forget the purpose of a thing. We might be doing one thing, next thing you know, we way over here. Hey, you're supposed to be here to get some money, to get some food, to take back to your family. What you at that party for? What that party got to do? You gonna pay me to go to that party? Now you gonna pay me to go to that party, and it's mandatory I go to that party. I go to that party, and I'll be the coat rack. You know, everybody give me your coats. I ain't doing none of that stuff y'all doing. But I'll be the coat rack. How long? Hey, I'm on the clock. I don't know what y'all doing. I'm on the clock. I'm the only, ain't no coat rack ever got as much money as I give them, and I'm getting right now. That's it. See, I know if I got these coats in my hand, I ain't over there dancing at the party. Read.
After that, they be destroyed from before you, and that you inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. You shall not do so unto Yahweh your Elohim, for every abomination to Yahweh, which he hates, have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. You shall not add thereto, nor diminish from it.
Now, if you shall not add or diminish, now we're starting to get a problem, because most of the rituals that we hear people are performing, they're not coming from this book. They're coming from some other books that people have said are just as holy as the Bible. There's no such thing as just as holy, because once you do that, guess what happens? Now you've made it as equal footing with Yahweh law. Now you got a problem. You didn't just add and take away. You have now made that book elevated above this one. You're on your third offense when you thinking you're on your first. Let's go to Numbers chapter 21. So before there's actually a onslaught made against us, they've already attacked us culturally and weakened us. And we're so busy hanging out, having a good time, we don't even realize what's happening. They're in the process of a full-fledged spiritual takeover, and you don't even know it. Because all the while this is happening with a smile. This is happening while you're hanging out, picking up waves. You don't understand that there's going to be a wave of aggression come to you, but by the time you see it, you're going to then realize, oh, they started this war 4, 5, 6 years ago. Okay. Numbers chapter 21. Let's read verses 1 through 9.
And when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto Yahweh and said, if you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And Yahweh hearkened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against Elohim and against Moshe, wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathes this light bread.
We start to hate what Yahweh has given us. See, once we, get accustomed to it, we don't want this. Go ahead.
And Yahweh sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moshe and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against Yahweh.
Once again, we realize that we have spoken against Yahweh when we get bit. Now, not after, we done said, why you even brought us out here? Why you even do that? We don't realize it then. Once we get bit, then here we come. I think I didn't see him. See, sometimes Yahweh got to bite us. Sometimes he got to let us get bit just so we can understand when we bit. Go ahead.
And against you, pray unto Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us. And Moshe prayed for the people.
Now they got to go to the same person that they were complaining to. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, make you a fiery serpent and set it up on a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looks upon it, shall live. And Moshe made a serpent of brass and put it up on a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
All right, now let's go to 2 Kings chapter 18. Second Kings 18, and we're going to read verses 1 through 7. Because now you have something that's coming from Yahweh, and now this thing becomes a problem. Go ahead.
Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hosea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah the son of Ahaz, king of Yehudah, began to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places, and brake the images, and cut down the groves, and brake in pieces the brazen serpent that Moshe had made.
Right. Go ahead.
For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and he called it Neheshtan.
Right. So it has become an image. It now has to be torn down just like the heathen images. Okay? It has to be dealt with because of how they are dealing with it. Go ahead.
He trusted in Yahweh Elohim of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all the kings of Yehudah, nor any that were before him. For he clave to Yahweh, and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments, which Yahweh commanded Moshe. And Yahweh was with him, and he prospered whithersoever he went forth. And he rebelled against the king of Assyria, and served him not.
All right, you finished that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I want go to the next graphic, and I want you to start reading here, priest, because Yahweh saw you. It was very obvious that even when he gave something, that it turned into an idol very quick. All right, this image here is something that you will just go past in a lot of people's homes, and you might not even understand what it is you're looking at. Start reading there.
The hand with the eye is supposed to keep you from the evil eye.
Now, this is supposed to be the evil eye. Now, this is supposed to keep you from the evil eye, but it got an evil eye in it. Now, I don't know how this works. I don't know how having an evil eye protect you from the evil eye. But yeah, that's what it done did say. Go ahead.
From the evil eye, which is a spirit. The magic rituals came from rabbis, and rabbis had to perform the ritual. The rabbi would perform a ritual to ward off the evil eye of jealousy or some other hatred. In Jewish custom, the evil eye, called Ein Hara in Hebrew, is the belief that someone can harm another person by looking at them with envy or ill intentions.
If that the case, I'd have been dead a long time ago. If everybody who looked at me with an evil eye was able to do something to me, brother, come on. Go ahead.
Essentially causing misfortune through a malevolent gaze. It's considered a negative energy. It can bring bad luck and is often associated with jealousy and boasting about one's blessings.
Okay, so let's get a little, because people will swear that this is in the book, so we got to get to these parts. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Now, see, I would pass all of these little images and wonder, what is that about? Because they don't all look the same. There are some different ones, but the one common thing you're going to keep seeing is that eye. Matthew chapter 6, and I want you to read verses 19 through 24.
Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light. But if your eye be evil, your whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and Mammon.
All right, now let's go to Mark chapter 7. Mark chapter 7. And we're going to read verses 14 through 23.
Verse 14. And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, Hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man.
All right, now we are to believe that these customs that somebody can look at someone and bring forth a bad spirit. You have to start asking yourself, okay, what kind of witchcraft is this? Go ahead.
If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he says unto them, Are you so without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without enters into the man, it cannot defile him, because it enters not into his heart, but into the belly, and goes out into the draught, purging all meats?
Right. If that's the case, then how can somebody looking at somebody cause a spirit to give them some issues? Go ahead.
And he said, That which comes out of the man, that defiles the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye.
An evil eye. Go ahead.
Blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
All right. So let's get a little bit more concerning this evil eye. Go to the next graphic.
Key points about the evil eye in Judaism. Concept in Jewish texts. While not explicitly mentioned in the Bible, the concept of Ayin Hara is discussed in the Talmud and Kabbalah.
Stop. One of the things that we read in the foundation, you shall not add and you shall not take away. Okay, none of this culture is in this book, but it's in the Talmud and the Kabbalah. That has been added. But people are going to question you about these rituals and make you think that you must not really believe in this stuff if you don't know all these rituals. Go ahead.
How to avoid the evil eye. Jews often try to avoid bragging about their good fortune or possessions to prevent attracting negative attention and potential harm from others.
Now, first of all, that don't sound nothing like us. That don't sound nothing like us. Let me tell you what that sound like. The underworld. When drug dealers or mafia had so much money, they had to hide the money. They were making so much that they couldn't talk about it or it drew negative attention. What would that negative attention be? Oh, then somebody come and kill you for the very money that you have bragged about that you have. But that didn't happen to normal people. That happened to people who had a basement full of cash. We all had that thing. We say it all the time. Keeping up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. You know who Jones was? A black dude who ran his mouth too much. Went to jail. Started running off to the mouth. And the mafia dude was in the prison with him. He talking about this racket that he got, and he making $1 million. We're talking about 50s, the 40s and 50s. He making $1 million a month. You know how much money that is? So what happened? He got out of jail. The mafia came and got him. Took all of that. You know that Las Vegas was built on our idea? What Jones had was something called the policy. The policy was illegal number game, what we now call the lottery. We invented the lottery. Could nobody keep up with Jones? Jones getting paid. All this came out of Chicago. They come in, take Jones' number game. They were making so much money after they took Jones's money, his little number game called a policy. They then took the money and invested in Las Vegas. Now we go to Las Vegas. Every bit of it came from us. I remember my grandmama played their legal numbers before they had lottery. That was ours. Now, whole cities have been built. When it come time to get restitution, there's money that you don't even know you're supposed to get. That whole town was built off the stuff that they took from Jones. Go ahead, bro.
You know, Elder, when you look at how to avoid the evil eye, it says Jews often try to avoid bragging about their good fortune or possessions to prevent attracting negative attention. Now we understand why every time somebody says they run everything, they shut it down.
You got it. You got it. You got it. We don't do that. Tell us we run everything. Yeah, you right. I be running it. You know what I'm saying, bro? We don't do that. We don't do that. But when you have to present two things at once, you have to. When you're trying to act as if you're being persecuted, but you own all this stuff, Now you have to hide that you own the stuff while claiming that you're being persecuted. See, the mobster has to hide how much money he's making because he's supposed to be a legitimate businessman. A legitimate businessman don't have, 8 Rolls Royces. He's got to hide that. Well, Las Vegas gave them a way to not only hide the money, but to clean it. Las Vegas is a laundromat. That's where you take the money to get it clean. Go ahead.
Protective measures. To ward off the evil eye, some Jews wear charms or amulets like a hamsa, hand, and may use phrases like bi la ayin hara, without the evil eye, when discussing positive things.
All right, so this goes, you'll be surprised to see just how deep this goes, because you keep seeing this eye, and it doesn't just stand in one place. It goes through many other cultures, but we're going to get to that too. Go ahead.
What does the evil eye mean? The evil eye is a curse from Greek culture that has been passed through many decades and still exists today. It is believed that when someone is jealous of you, they can curse you with an evil glare and send bad luck your way.
Now, when do believers of Yahweh, now if he says, I have caused you to be a blessed people above all nations, tell me how you hide that. Tuck that in. Let me see you tuck that in. How you tuck it in your life? Okay, keep reading.
So protection from the evil eye is something that a lot of people looked for. That's why today people often wear evil eye jewelry as a symbol of protection.
Evil eye jewelry as a symbol of protection. So there's going to be some things you out there getting ready to buy you, a little gold chain, and you're going to see some medallions. Let me tell you, some of the medallions you need to keep going by. You mess around and pick the wrong thing, you don't know what you're picking. Oh, this looks nice. Go ahead.
Even with the chosen people, you always say you're going to be a light unto the world. So why are you going to be hiding and try to disguise yourself? You're a light to the world.
The only reason you hide something is if you stole it. What? 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 If I own it, why am I hiding it? Oh, unless I'm scared you're going to rob me of it. But you still know it's mine. You know it's mine. You know my Elohim who gave it to me. Go ahead.
The origin of the evil eye. History says about 40% of the world's cultures believe in some form of the evil eye. There's mention of the evil eye in Roman and Greek texts, as well as the Quran and Bible. The evil eye curse has a long history as far back as 3000 BC. Despite the evolution of science and changing times, the belief in the evil eye remains a straightforward explanation for the question, why do bad things happen to good people?
So, because they didn't have nothing to ward off evil. See, if they had the eye, then those things wouldn't happen to them. How are we going to believe in that and believe in this? Well, we see that some people already believed in something else, and they accepted this culture, but they kept the things that they were previously doing. Go to the next graphic.
Warding off evil spirits. 2 Yiddish incantations.
Now, this comes from a Jewish magazine, and it's interesting. It says 2 Yiddish incantations, how to ward off evil spirits. Wait a minute. What? Where we get spells from? I've been reading this book for a minute. I ain't got to the book of spells yet. Go ahead.
A memory.
Now, this is somebody writing about how they came to the knowledge of this evil eye situation. Now listen.
I am 5, walking alongside my baby sister stroller. An old woman, the kind you don't see anymore, comes up beside us. She wears a kerchief over her head and thick, cotton, flesh-tinted, sagging stockings.
Now, first of all, why you don't see them kind of women no more who she wears a kerchief over her head? Oh, okay. Oh, you don't see them kind of. Okay, go ahead.
Her fingers are gnarled. Her dress is mourning black. What an ugly baby, she tells my mother, from a mouth with no teeth. What a miskayet, she says, a Yiddish word meaning ugliness. I don't know how you can look at her.
Now, this is supposed to be a part of a custom, but we all know, among us, you are definitely picking yourself up off the floor when it goes down like this here. But go ahead, keep going.
And then the old woman purses her lips and seemingly spits at my new sister. Pooh, 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 she says. Pooh, pooh, pooh. I kick her poor old leg and scream at her. You old bag, how dare you call my beautiful sister ugly? When I was able to sit down again.
All right, stop. All right. All right. So she getting dealt with, right? For kicking the old lady. Now, but keep going.
My mother took me on her lap, kissed me, and introduced me to a great mystery.
Okay.
There are evil spirits all around us.
Now, at this point, you think that she's about to call the old bag the evil spirit. But keep reading.
You must never, ever, ever say anything good about anyone, or they might be attracted to that person and harm him or her.
What the hell? Go ahead.
And if you happen to do so, you must immediately add poo, poo, poo.
Man, come on. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on, man. No. You need to understand when Yahweh says certain things, when he says something like synagogue of Satan, you think that it is that man, this is so far-fetched. No, you need to understand some things now. Keep reading.
It's a truth so universally acknowledged that the villain of a short sci-fi story some years ago terrorized an entire neighborhood by praising the children.
Terrorize the neighborhood by saying good things to the children. Go ahead.
He's so smart he's going to be a doctor, she would say. Or, she's so beautiful she could be a princess, bringing parents to their knees, ready to do anything to pacify her. My mother had been shockingly remiss in imparting this lesson. I was a great girl of kindergarten age, and who knows how many evil spirits I had unwittingly drawn.
So you unwittingly drawing evil spirits by saying nice things to people. What? Okay, keep reading.
But she made up for her neglect thereafter. It was almost as if the old woman had been heaven sent to correct our missteps.
So the old lady with the gnarled fingers and no teeth who said poo, poo, poo wasn't the evil spirit. She was the blessing. Go ahead, keep reading.
Not saying something good became a code I could read and speak after a while. And I wonder now that the evil spirits could not break the code as well.
Okay, go ahead.
I even speak it in the code to my children.
Speak it in code. Go ahead.
They understand that when I say, who needs you? Who wants you? Who loves you? Not me. Poo, poo, poo. I am telling them in code that I love and treasure them.
That's quite interesting, ain't it? Isn't that quite interesting?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that quite interesting? No. So when Yahweh says, go in here and take care of something, are you going to be hesitant? See, because you don't know enough about it. You don't know about the poo, poo, poo. What indeed? What? So you can't say nothing good. I want you to read Proverbs 18 and 21.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue,
Uh-huh.
and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Okay, so if death and life are in the power of the tongue, this is what you're gonna say to your kids. So consider, you're saying who needs you, who wants you, who loves you, not me, poo poo poo. Then you tell them to hide any good fortune or any good thing that is to be said. Now that's interesting. Now let's go to Numbers chapter 6.
I'm just glad the little kids got their own class, because we'd be hearing poo 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 for the rest of the day.
And you know that'll be the only thing that stick out to them, right? They'll be done standing here 2 hours. They don't remember nothing but poo, poo, poo. Eh? Numbers chapter 6. And let's read verses 22 through 27. Because we would have to, something would have to be a problem here. Numbers chapter 6, start at verse 22.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them.
Wait a minute, but you ain't supposed to say nothing good about nobody.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Now, the foundation of our law says something completely different than this custom. Yahshua says, if you love me, you'll keep my words and my sayings. So we have to ask ourselves, whose sayings we going to keep? Because there's folklore and there's custom that says you're not supposed to say anything good or you're going to attract a bad spirit. But yet, this high priest was instructed to say these things concerning Israel. Go ahead.
Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
How are we supposed to be able to say that if we gonna say it and then bring forth some kind of bad spirit? What kind of witchcraft produced such things? Because they did not come from this book. So how do you have a culture that has enveloped the so-called Holy Land, but it didn't come from the Holy Book? Go ahead.
And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
Okay, now let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 18. Put my name on the children of Israel. Now, this is quite interesting now, because around those parts, it is also said that you can't say his name. Now, this starting to get interesting. So you bless them, you put the name of Yahweh on them, but when you go to the Holy Land, you can't say his name. Now, if someone is trying to take your power away from you, you understand that an enemy not saying Yahweh's name does not take away power from them, because they didn't get any power from it. They got their power from somewhere else. But if you, on the other hand, won't say his name, you won't do the things that's in here, now your power has been diminished. So their power has been magnified and yours have been diminished. Now, the day of this fight, it's starting to look worse and worse for you. 1 Samuel chapter 18, let's start at verse 1.
And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day, and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him, and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war. And he was accepted in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. And it came to pass, as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul, with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music.
Now, if they were keeping this custom, they should have known not to say nothing good about David, because it would have really caused a lot of evil. Why would this even be allowed? Keep going.
And the women answered one another as they played, and said, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000.
So the singing shouldn't have been allowed at all. What has now caused the problem is Saul realized that he got a lower number than David. Go ahead.
And Saul was very angry, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom?
All right, so at this point, Saul or David, somebody need an evil eye. Somebody should hang up an evil eye on their neck, and then that's going to keep this from happening, right? Go ahead.
And Saul eyed David from that day and
Oh,
forward.
he eyed him. He had the evil eye. Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from Elohim came upon Saul.
Uh-huh.
And he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand as at other times. And there was a javelin in Saul's hand. And Saul cast the javelin. For he said, I'll smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice.
Now, just the belief that some amulet or whatever, some medallion is going to keep something from you, we have to understand something. When David was anointed and the spirit of Yahweh rested upon him, Saul was visited by an evil spirit. You ain't gonna do nothing that's gonna take away from what Yahweh has commanded. Do you understand what we are saying? If somebody can get some kind of article and cause the spirit that Yahweh has sent to be removed, then that means that thing is more powerful than Yahweh. How can you be a believer of Yahweh and believe that there's something stronger than him? Go ahead.
I mean, we even see it right here, because when we read before, when David played, the evil spirit went away. This
Right.
time it didn't go away.
Right, this time it didn't go away. Go ahead.
And Saul was afraid of David because Yahweh was with him, and was departed from Saul.
Okay, Saul was afraid of David because Yahweh was with him, and he knew the spirit had done departed from him. There ain't no magic potion or magic thing you gonna get to change this. Go ahead.
Therefore Saul removed him from him, and made him his captain over 1,000. And he went out and came in before the people. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and Yahweh was with him. Wherefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Yehudah loved David, because he went out and came in before them.
All right, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 28. First Samuel chapter 28, and let's start at verse 1.
And it came to pass in those days that the Philistines gathered their armies together for warfare, to fight with Israel. And Achish said unto David, Know you assuredly that you shall go out with me to battle, you and your men. And David said to Achish, Surely you shall know what your servant can do. And Achish said to David, Therefore will I make you keeper of mine head forever. Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had lamented him, and buried him in Ramah, even in his own city. And Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits and the wizards out of the land. And the Philistines gathered themselves together, and came and pitched in Shunem. And Saul gathered all Israel together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul inquired of Yahweh, Yahweh answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets.
Right. Yahweh won't deliver any message unto him by any means whatsoever. Go ahead.
Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that has a familiar spirit, that I might go to her and inquire of her.
Now, because now he the one put the wizards and all these other people out of the land, but now he wants to seek one. Go ahead.
And his servant said to him, behold, there is a woman that has a familiar spirit at Endor. And Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went, and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night. And he said, I pray you, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto you. And the woman said unto him, behold, you know what Saul has done, how he has cut off those that have familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layeth you a snare for my life, to cause me to die?
So, when we start dealing with amulets and spells, then we are dealing with the opposite of Yahweh. Now, he knows exactly that he's going a different way. How is it that it's normal custom in the so-called Holy Land to deal with spells, witches, and wizards? Go ahead.
And Saul sware to her by Yahweh, saying, as Yahweh lives, there shall no punishment happen to you for this thing. Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto you? And he said, bring me up Samuel. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spake to Saul, saying, why have you deceived me? For you are Saul. And the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what saweth you?
What saweth you? Now, this is what was so-called shown to her. He don't see it. She does. Go ahead.
And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man comes up, and he's covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel.
Saul perceived that it was Samuel. So, you'll read this and say, how that lady pull up Samuel out of the dead like that. He went to a familiar spirit. Let me tell you something. The earth and the fullness therein belongs to Yahweh. Just like that lying prophet. Here we go. You go and seek. What did Yahweh say? If you come to me in truth, I'm going to show you in truth. But if you come to me suspect, I'm going to show myself to you suspect. Go ahead.
And he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, why have you disquieted me, to bring me up? And Saul answered, I'm sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and Elohim is departed from me, and answers me no more, neither by prophets, nor by dreams. Therefore have I called you, that you may make known unto me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, wherefore then does you ask of me, seeing Yahweh is departed from you, and is become your enemy? And Yahweh has done to him as he spake by me. For Yahweh has rent the kingdom out of your hand, and given it to your neighbor, even to Dawid. Because you obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, nor executed his fierce wrath upon Amalek, therefore has Yahweh done this thing unto you this day. Moreover, Yahweh will also deliver Israel with you into the hand of the Philistines. And tomorrow shall you and your sons be with me. Yahweh also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. Then Saul fell straightway all along on the earth, and was sore afraid because of the words of Samuel. And there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day nor all the night. And the woman came unto Saul, and saw that he was sore troubled, and said unto him, behold, your handmaid has obeyed your voice, and I have put my life in your hand, and have hearkened unto your words which you spake unto me. Now therefore, I pray you, hearken you also unto the voice of your handmaid, and let me set a morsel of bread before you, and eat, that you may have strength when you go on your way. But he refused and said, I'll not eat. But his servants, together with the woman, compelled him, and he hearkened unto their voice. So he arose from the earth and sat upon the bed. And the woman had a fat calf in the house, and she hasted and killed it, and took flour and kneaded it, and did bake unleavened bread thereof. And she brought it before Saul and before his servants, and they did eat. Then they rose up and went away that night.
All right, now let's go to First Chronicles. First Chronicles chapter 10. First Chronicles chapter 10, and let's read verses 1 through 14.
Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchi-Shua, the sons of Saul. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was wounded of the archers. Then said Saul to his armor-bearer, Draw your sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me. But his armor-bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. So Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise on the sword and died. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and all his house died together. And when all the men of Israel that were in the valley saw that they fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, then they forsook their cities and fled. And the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And when they had stripped him, they took his head and his armor and sent it into the land of the Philistines round about, to carry tidings unto their idols and to the people. And they put his armor in the house of their gods, and fastened his head in the temple of Dagon. And when all Jabesh Gilead heard all that the Philistines had done to Saul, they arose, all the valiant men, and took away the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons, and brought them to Jabesh, and buried their bones under the oak in Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. So Saul died for his transgression, which he committed against Yahweh, even against the word of Yahweh, which he kept not, and also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it.
And also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit. Go ahead.
And inquired not of Yahweh, therefore he slew him, and turned the kingdom unto Dawid, the son of Yesse.
All right. So we are encouraged to seek out familiar spirits, and we don't even know that that's what's going on. I want you to read from that next graphic there.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh, your Elohim.
Right. So then if we allow some other writings to tell us that we should be dealing with these familiar spirits, then they are seriously weakening us just by having us deal with some things that we're not supposed to have any dealings with. Now let's go to Numbers chapter 22. And understand, you have to put their so-called holidays all in the same bucket as this wizard and witch-like behavior. Your enemy trying to get you killed. See, your enemy not going to lose power by dealing with the wizards. They already dealt with wizards before they accepted this. You're the only one that's going to be weakened by it. That's a win-win for them. Numbers chapter 22, and let's read verses 1 through 12.
And the children of Israel set forward, and pitched in the plains of Moab on this side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was sore afraid of the people, because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, Now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as the ox licks up the grass of the field. And Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come out from Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray you, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you blessed is blessed, and he whom you cursed is cursed. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they came unto Balaam and spake unto him the words of Balak.
So then a prophet is hired to produce a curse against the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I'll bring you word again, as Yahweh shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And Elohim came unto Balaam, and said, What men are these with you? And Balaam said unto Elohim, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covers the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them, peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And Elohim said unto Balaam, You shall not go with them, you shall not curse the people, for they are blessed.
You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. All right? Jump to chapter 23 and start at verse 1. See, we don't need no protective medallions. What we need is to walk in the protective word. Numbers chapter 23, start at verse 1.
And Balaam said unto Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 oxen and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and a ram. And Balaam said unto Balak, Stand by the burnt offering, and I will go. Peradventure Yahweh will come to meet me. And whatsoever he shows me, I will tell you. And he went to an high place. And Elohim met Balaam, and he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. And Yahweh put a word in Balaam's mouth, and said, Return unto Balak, and thus you shall speak. And he returned unto him, and, lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his parable, and said, Balak the king of Moab has brought me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come, curse me Jacob, and come defy Israel. How shall I curse whom Elohim has not cursed?
Right. So this is a question that the nations are still asking. How can I curse whom Elohim has not cursed? How can I curse these people? Oh, make sure they walk against their culture. Their curse is contained in that law. So make them hate it. Make them dance around in prosperity and proclaim how they hate the law. Go ahead.
Or how shall I defy whom Yahweh has not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, and the number of the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like this. And Balak said unto Balaam, What have you done unto me? I took you to curse mine enemies, and behold, you have blessed them altogether.
So did all the children of Israel have on the evil eye, and then the curse came and bounced back? What happened? What happened? Well, if your enemy can find out how it didn't work, They said, oh, we're going to do better next time. Go ahead.
And he answered and said, must I not take heed to speak that which Yahweh has put in my mouth? And Balak said unto him, come, I pray you, with me unto another place, from whence you may see them. You shall see but the utmost part of them, and shall not see them all, and curse me them from thence. And he brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 pillars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar.
He built 7 altars and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. This is a lot of work to be trying to curse somebody. There's a lot going on here. Go ahead.
Yeah, you keep moving. I can't curse him from over here. Maybe I can curse him from over there.
And each time now he building something else. Okay? Go ahead.
And he said unto Balak, stand here by the burnt offering, while I meet with Yahweh yonder. And Yahweh met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, go again unto Balak, and say thus. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what has Yahweh spoken? And he took up his parable, and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, you son of Zippor. Elohim is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or has he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he is blessed, and I cannot reverse it.
I cannot reverse it. Go ahead.
He has not beheld lawlessness in Jacob, neither has he seen perverseness in Israel. Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh his Elohim is with him, and the shout of a king is among them.
Okay, verse 21. He has not beheld lawlessness in Jacob, neither has he seen perverseness in Israel. Okay, now your enemy just said, okay, now we're going to do this right next time. We got to make sure that there's lawlessness in Israel and make sure that Yahweh sees only perverseness. So then he introduces you to concepts that will get you killed. All the while smiling at you and pretending to be your friend. Moving into your neighborhood telling you to segregate away from your people. Let's go ahead and do this desegregation thing. While they were buying everything in their neighborhoods, owning everything in their community, and moving tighter together, you were told to spread out. Go ahead.
Elohim brought them out of Egypt. He has, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob.
I'm sorry. I'm going to need you to read that again.
Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what has Elohim wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great nation, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey, and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said unto Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all.
Now you're angry. Go ahead.
But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I you, saying, all that Yahweh speak, that I must do? And Balak said unto Balaam, come, I pray you, I'll bring you on to another place. Peradventure it will please Elohim that you may curse me them from thence. And Balak brought Balaam onto the top of Peor, that looks toward Yeshimon. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar.
All right. How can you curse that which is blessed? They have to put forth a scheme to do that. And they have all the necessary ingredients. The curse or the witchcraft that has been played out against us is being played and we are presenting all the ingredients for the witchcraft. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Daniel chapter 6. Daniel chapter 6, and we're going to read verses 1 through 5.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
All right, so then he has then gathered some jealousy to himself because of the excellent spirit that was in him. Go ahead.
Then the presidents and the princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
All right, so no amount of evil eye worked against him. They were jealous of him because of what he was able to achieve there. But no matter how they looked at him, it didn't work. So they realized how they would find a way. Go ahead.
Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his Elohim.
Now, if you back up and look at everything that has been done against us, it is to make sure that we are going against the law of our Elohim. Every concept that has been given unto us is something to make us accept the opposite of what's written in the law of our Elohim. Go ahead.
That was it, verse 5.
That was it. Then said these men, excuse me, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law. Our enemies study our law. Consider the problem that you have when your enemy studies your law and you don't. We are being toyed with. And then when we do decide that we're going to get in the culture, then they give us rituals of witchcraft that they have dealt with, and we still get enslaved by that. We need to understand where our strength is going to come from. It's not going to come from all of the physical things that we can gather unto ourselves. It's not going to come from how well we may be able to physically fight. It's going to come from how much we can get into Yahweh's good graces and have his spirit direct us. That is how we are being warred against. Because if the children of Israel gather together, there's not a nation on this earth that can stand against us. The only way is if they continue to find fault with us concerning the law of our Elohim. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.